Hello friends, welcome to another episode of 3 Minute Game Pass. I'm Nathan. Today I'm going to tell this Game Pass game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Limbo. Enter the charcoal world of Limbo, where you attempt to guide a boy on his never-ending quest to go as far to the right as possible, and die horribly along the way. Limbo is an Xbox and PC cross-release. There's no upgrades or anything for this game. It's an old Xbox 360 game that they just repurposed, but it is about 6 to 8 hours long. So what exactly is Limbo? Well, Limbo is a 2D puzzle platformer released originally back in 2010, where you must use your wits and ability to grab things to solve puzzles while continuing to the right and occasionally sometimes to the left. The general game is very simple, with the ability to grab, hang, and jump, but new gameplay elements are introduced as you continue through the game world and puzzles become more and more complex. The game is presented entirely in black and white, and while it looks tame, the sound, visuals, and horrific deaths lead it to have a bit of a suspense and horror edge to it. So all in all, this is a puzzle platforming game where you're put into little puzzle arenas before you can go on to the next one, with some horror elements and an interesting art and visual style. So what do I like about Limbo? Well, I love this game's atmosphere. I feel the atmosphere is incredibly strong. It has great feelings of dread and unease throughout the game. The game also mixes up its gameplay and puzzle requirements very often, so you'll pretty much never be bored, as every new puzzle area usually introduces new mechanics and new things to explore. And lastly, I love the art style. It's just really fantastic. It does a lot with just grayscale, and particularly the boy's glowing eyes and the lack of glowing eyes from other NPCs really give this game a particular mood. When it comes to the bad, I feel like the jumping in this game is pretty floaty and the grabs are inconsistent. This was an original problem on the 360. I was hoping they might touch it up a little bit with this game, but they didn't. You do kind of get used to it, but it can lead to some unnecessary deaths or puzzle failures. Additionally, the first area of the game is a great mix of atmosphere and puzzles, but it kinds up ending just being puzzles for the last third of the game. You lose a lot of that atmosphere that really drew you in, which I felt was kind of unfortunate that the game wasn't consistent from beginning to end. And lastly, this game has some really unfair deaths where you can only know how to succeed by dying horribly the first time. As an example, there's an area where there's two crushing things above you and there's two buttons on the ground. The first button is safe, but if you step on the ground around it, you get crushed. The second button will crush you. There's no way of knowing this just visually looking at the two crushers. You just gotta accept the death, and that feels pretty unfair. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider don't bother. This game is still absolutely a must play. Limbo is a short experience, but a very sweet one. While it's unfortunate that the last third can't live up to the majestic ambiance evoked in the first parts of the game, the puzzle design is still strong, and the game remains engaging all the way through to its rather abrupt ending. If you somehow made it this far in life without playing Limbo, turn off the lights and get absorbed into this dark, deadly world. And thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for you today, and go out there and enjoy the hell out of Limbo. And yes, I get that that could be perceived as a pun.